Ladies and gentlemen, UFC Fight Night, Johnny Walker versus Mingyang Zhang is taking place this Saturday on August the 23rd, 2025, starting at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Maybe we'll be up for that fight. We don't really know. We're going to be taking a look at the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving an entire predictions and breakdowns for each fight. It will be quick. It will be within 15 to 20 minutes. Let's break it down quick. Let's get you guys out of here, and let's not sit here too long on something we don't need to. Let's get it down really easily. I think we got some really good picks this week. We absolutely butchered it last week, but I think we can rebound really easy this week with some really nice predictions. Let's get it down with the first prelim opener, which is Dr. Nurgozai versus Uran-Sati Baldiev. We're going with Uran-Sati Baldiev. This fight will be at light heavyweight. Both of these guys weighing at 210 and 222 respectively. Uran-Sati Baldiev took a short notice fight in the UFC against Martin Buday. Did fight at heavyweight for that fight, weighed in at 222. Ended up getting bullied because of the weight the weight difference. It was about 63 pounds on fight day. Martin Buday does weigh in at about 285 when he walks around on fight day, and that is just because he still cuts weight to 265. The dude's a massive giant. Dr. Nurgozai just looked like absolute trash against Brennison Ribeiro. He had a half decent start to the round, but he just ended the second round with getting submitted awfully quickly, and that gives me a lot of worry because the guy he fought in the Contender Series wasn't really good. Uran-Sati Baldiev has some really nasty power. He was the LFA champion, if I'm not mistaken, and he can put in some damage when he really wants to. He's really good on the ground, and if he's getting Kimura'd by Brennison Ribeiro, I'm going to say Uran-Sati Baldiev most likely is going to submit Nurgozai within 2 rounds. I'm going to go with Uran-Sati Baldiev as a -300 favorite to get a win over the absolute trash-looking Kazakhstanian. I think he's going to need a lot more improvements to get through the UFC at this point. The light heavyweight division's a little bit stacked. Heavyweight's a little bit more bare. I think he can maybe move up, but I don't think you're lasting inside the light heavyweight division. Next in the prelims, Long Zhao versus Su Young Yu Jiu-Jitsu. We're going with Jiu-Jitsu. I think he's just a little bit more controlled during his fights. I think he's very calm even in tough situations. Long Zhao's a very good pressure fighter. This guy, no matter what, is always running you down. The one fight that he did have, I don't know what just happened with all of this. I don't know how we're breaking this apart here. I don't know how we just closed off all of the fights, but I guess we did it. Regardless, we're just going to fix it here. Sorry, there we go. We were trying to look at here. Cheng Ho Lee, he lost a split decision with Cheng Ho Lee, but against Kwang Lee, he was able to overwhelm him in the 3rd round with heavy pressure, lots of strikes, lots of pressure, lots of just never backing down. It was a really good win for Long Zhao. I think that's where his luck ends. I think Jiu-Jitsu is going to be controlling him for the first 2 rounds and absolutely exhausting Long Zhao out. I don't think he's going to have that pop that he had inside the fight with Kwang Lee, and I don't think he's going to be able to last 3 rounds realistically. I think Su Young Yu is going to be looking for a finish the whole time. The man who has 33% of his wins by submission hasn't gotten one since his stint inside the regional scene. But I think that he can definitely get a triangle or an arm triangle choke over Long Zhao. Long Zhao just does not look that good on the ground, and he does have some holes. I think Su Young Yu can patch those holes up. Give me Su Young Yu to win via decision. You know what? On the line, -140. It's good enough as it is. Long Zhao should not be that close, honestly, in my opinion. So take it as you will. I guess it's because of how many fights he has, but again, he's fighting not really that great of opposition. Next on the prelims, Yiza versus Weston Wilson. This one's we don't even need to talk about, really. Yiza is going to beat the shit out of Weston Wilson. Wilson last time around got a really good submission over Jekka Singha. I think that's his name. Or Sergey. There you go. I can't even fucking remember. Sergey. Jekka just looked terrible. Jekka has always been terrible, and I think everyone knows that. Jekka has a lot of knockouts inside of his career, and he couldn't get one over Weston Wilson. He also got knocked out by Ju Sang Yu, which was pretty sad to see. I'm not going to lie. He got absolutely decimated. And at this point in his career, Weston Wilson does not look that great. He doesn't look fast. He doesn't look like he has anything other than his submissions. Yiza is not going to the ground. I will not be betting a -1,500 favorite over Weston Wilson, though. You will see a $5 bet on Weston Wilson by submission for sure. But Yiza most likely will be able to get a very easy win over Weston Wilson. How that win is going to happen, I don't know. Will I give you an option to bet on it? No, because I don't think you should bet on this fight. This is one you should stay away from if you're on the betting side. If you're on the prediction side, Stay away from Weston Wilson. There's no way he wins this fight. This is rough. This is a very rough fight for Weston Wilson. He's dealing with a guy who's really good on the ground, who's going to be countering all of his grappling attempts, and he's going to be throwing some fucking hammers in his face. Weston Wilson does not have any stand-up whatsoever, and he's not going to deal with it well whatsoever. Give me Yiza to win by whatever means necessary. Next on the prelims, Michel Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins. Go with Michel Pereira to win over the newly acquainted, once again, Kyle Dawkins, who's making his second stint inside of the UFC after winning 4 in a row in FC, becoming champion, having some good fights. Again, I don't think he's going to do anything with this. I think this is just a very easy way to get back into the UFC by fighting some absolute shit competition. I think Michel Pereira here is going to knock out Kyle Dawkins and put himself back into the win column with a very, very explosive and fast start. I think Michel Pereira in the first round can absolutely decimate Kyle Dawkins, and I don't think he has anything really for him. I think Kyle Dawkins is kind of a sitting duck here. I think him getting knocked out by Eric Anders is a bad fucking look, and I think that realistically, getting knocked out by Roman Dolidze in the clinch, you're allowing yourself to get hit, and Michel Pereira loves it when you allow yourself to get hit. And Michel Pereira will be looking for a knockout. He will be looking for a big way to come back into the win column because he's got two in a row, one by knockout in the 5th round. You got to do something. You got to put yourself back in that conversation somehow. And with Kyle Dawkins, I think it's a perfect way to go. Give me Michel Pereira to win by knockout or submission over Kyle Dawkins. I think he has to finish him here. I think he needs to get the win in a emphatic fashion because he's not looking that great right now. He's looking like a bum. He's looking like he's only fought trash cans in his division, which he has. And Michel Pereira is going to need to show that he's improved at least a little bit in order to stay inside the UFC at this point. His contract's about to be up, I believe. He's going to need a new signing. You ain't getting much more money if you look like that. Next on the prelims, Rong Zhu versus Austin Hubbard. I really want to pick Austin Hubbard here. I think Rong Zhu is a little bit overrated. I think his fight over Cody Steele is a little bit giving him a lot of gas when there's not a whole lot of fucking fire to light. I think Chris Padilla beat the fuck out of him, and I think realistically Rong Zhu was going to always lose that fight. He was getting caught way too much, and he just never really had an answer for what Chris Padilla had. But he did still walk down Chris Padilla no matter what, even though his eye was all fucked up, couldn't really see. Kept walking, didn't care. But again, this is his second stint inside the UFC. Rong Zhu trying to make a statement, but it's so hard for me. Like, realistically, Austin Hubbard's so good. Markel Medeiros, honestly, he should have won that fight. I thought Medeiros looked like shit. Mikhail Figlak, I mean, these are not that great of wins. Kurt Holloway choked him out in the 2nd round. I'm going to go with Rong Zhu to win. I think Austin Hubbard's good. I think he can definitely win this fight. I think I'm a little bit worried with the fact that Austin Hubbard hasn't shown up in his last fights. I think he's actually gotten worse as he stayed in the UFC, realistically. I think his performances over his last 2 opponents in Markel Medeiros and Alexander Hernandez were kind of shit. I really... Even though Alexander Hernandez just chinned Chase Hooper last weekend, I really, really don't rate Alexander Hernandez at all. I think this guy's terrible. I'm still on this guy's hate wagon. I just can't be with him. I can't. After that fight with Damon Jackson and stuff like that, after the fight with Kurt Holloway, after the fight with Jim Miller and stuff, he just doesn't look good. Like, Jim Miller's better than Alexander Hernandez at what Alexander Hernandez does, and Jim Miller's fucking 40. That's not a good look. And I feel bad to say it, but Austin Hubbard, man, if that's happening to you by that guy, Rong Zhu's gonna be all over you on that night. Excuse me. If Rong Zhu's gonna keep running it down, like he did against Chris Padilla, and just kept moving forward, and like he did against Cody Steele, never stopped moving, never stopped caring, never gave in to the pressure. I don't know if Hubbard's going to be able to deal with it. I don't know how he's going to handle it. I'm going to go with Rong Zhu to win by KO or decision. I think he can overwhelm him at some points, and I think he can find some perfect shots. But I think realistically, more likely than not, we're going to a decision. Over 1.5 rounds might be good. But I like Rong Zhu, I guess, to win. It's a tough fight to call, honestly. I do like Hubbard a lot. Maybe plus 3.5 Hubbard would be your bet. But I'd stay away from it realistically. Let me just take a swig on my Mountain Dew here because it is 1:10 in the morning. I have to be up in 4 hours for 5 hours for work. And I'm barely alive right now. It is what it is. Loner Kavanaugh versus Charles Johnson. Next on the prelims, and I think... Now, this is very hard for me to pick. This is one of those things where I think Charles Johnson is going to win. I think Charles Johnson is going to teach Loner Kavanagh a lesson, and this is not to be taken lightly. This is not to be taken in disrespect. I think Loner Kavanagh is one of the best possible flyweights that we have in the world right now. I think in terms of prospects, we have one of the best prospects in the world. I think him being in the UFC at 26 is the perfect age. I think him being 9-0 is a pretty good spot. I think him fighting Charles Johnson at this point in his career, a man who has 23 fights on his record, he's fighting a child. I don't know. I really don't. And I'm going to go with Charles Johnson, energy to win. I think Charles Johnson's really wants a flyweight title. I think Charles Johnson really wants the opportunity to get at that flyweight title. And I think Loner Kavanagh has all of the capabilities to beat him. I think he has all of the capabilities to overwhelm Charles Johnson. Do I think Loner Kavanagh is not going to shit the bed when it comes into situations where we're in tense moments? I can't confidently say so. I can't confidently say that Charles Johnson is not going to get into those big situations where he's getting in these weird exchanges with Loner Kavanagh and he's just overwhelming him with his vet status, you know? These guys who know the cage and have been in there a long time and know what's going on and have been there before and have seen it before and have you know, been in the same positions for hours and hours in the octagon. Meanwhile, this kid hasn't even spent that long. He's watched YouTube videos on the fucking some of the technique. I'm not saying Loner Kavanagh is bad. I'm saying that Charles Johnson has 8 years more mixed martial arts experience than Loner Kavanagh. He has almost 20 more fights than Loner Kavanagh, and he's outreaching him by 3 inches, and he's out hiding him by 5. Will Charles Johnson be getting taken down by a fucking short stack? Probably not. You see time and time again in the UFC nowadays that people are not getting taken down by shorter fighters. They're spreading their base wide, getting a whizzer, and they're never getting taken down. They can never get their hands locked. I'm going to go with Charles Johnson here. I think the underdog can win. I think I'm going to go with Charles Johnson plus 3.5 to be safe. I think Charles Johnson can 100% cover around over Loner Kavanagh. Do I think Loner Kavanagh is going to finish Charles Johnson? Absolutely fucking not. You know, Tamarov couldn't finish him, and if Tamarov's not finishing him, no one's finishing him until he's fucking old and riddled and bony. Okay? No one. Charles Johnson just has a chin. Very sharp with his submission defense. It's going to be very hard to submit him. Give me Charles Johnson plus 3.5, and possibly to win on the judges' scorecards against Loner Kavanagh and give him that churro. Next, the highlighted prelim of the evening, Mahashante versus Gay Zhang. We're going to go with Mahashante to win over Gay Zhang. Gay Zhang has not proven himself in the UFC yet. Lost his Contender Series fight. Fought inside F&C, knocked out Eric Grant, who's dog shit. And then he got invited back to the UFC, fought Evan Elder on short notice, if I'm not mistaken, and lost all 3 rounds. Did not look very good, was leaving his head straight in the center, did not have any head movement, was eating everything. Everything Evan threw at him, he threw probably 1 strike less. It was a little bit weird of a fight, and it was a little bit unfortunate to see a guy who I thought had so much potential kind of just get outstruck everywhere. And now you have Mahashante, who's taller than him by 3 inches, has 1.5 inches of reach, and he's going to be dealing with absolute pressure from Mahashante all night. Gay Zhang does not deal well with pressure. He doesn't deal well with guys who hit hard either because he sits on the center line. What does Mahashante do? Knock people out with 1 fucking punch. Mahashante has a shitload of knockouts. He's 40% of his wins by knockout. And he knocked out Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, that's a big knockout, boys. Steve Garcia does not get knocked out. That is not a guy who gets chinned. That is his only knockout loss in his career. And it is to Mahashante. I'm going to go with Mahashante to win by knockout or decision. I would prefer knockout. I think Gay Zhang's in a bit of a problem here. I think sitting on the center line is his problem. I think UFC jitters might have gotten to him on his first fight. But if he did not learn from his Contender Series debut, and if he did not learn from his UFC debut on short notice against Evan Elder, he's going to get knocked the fuck out by Mahashante. And you're going to see a very violent one on Saturday night, because I don't know how Gage is going to deal with it when he slips into a counter left because he can't sit on the fucking center line anymore because there's nothing to do. You just sit there and get punched. You gotta move, brother. You can't sit on the center line anymore. Evan Elder isn't a fucking finisher, clearly. Mahashante is. Be very, very careful where you sit, G-Money, because I don't want to see this kid get fucking chinned. but it's very possible that he does. I'm very, very worried for this kid. Fuck. Next, we're going to go into the main card of the evening. If you guys enjoyed this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. This is a little bit more low tone of a video. Again, this is midnight. We are 1 o'clock in the morning. I am trying to do this for you guys because it is my problem, or my fault, excuse me, for not doing this earlier. You know, it is what it is. I'm sorry for that. But we're trying our best here. We're going to try and keep working anyway. We're at 15 minutes. We need to get this done in the next 5. Let's go. Oh my god. Tayilake Nuraji versus Kiefer Crosby. We're going to go with Nuraji. I don't even know who Nuraji is. I've never even seen this guy fight. I've never seen anything about him. I don't know anything about him. I've never seen this dude fight once in my life. But I know he's better than Kiefer Crosby. I know Kiefer Crosby's fucking dog shit. I know watching Kiefer Crosby get submitted by Kevin Jose was one of the worst things I've ever watched in my life. Knowing that that guy can get submitted by Kevin Jose is one of the worst things to have in your mind. Nuraji is going to rock the fuck out of Crosby no matter what. No matter what happens, he's going to rock the fuck out of him. Crosby sitting at a plus 280 is laughable. He should be a plus 5,000. Nuraji is going to do whatever he wants to him. I don't know. I literally don't know this guy, but I know that Kiefer Crosby is absolute ass. He just cannot win this fight. And he's outranged by 7 inches. Look at that. And 3 inches of height. No, Nuraji's going to knock this dude out. We don't even need to read the rest of that. Next on the main card, Sumadarji versus Kevin Boras. We're going with Kevin Boras. Sumadarji has no stand-up whatsoever. He looks half-assed, realistically, every single time he fights. The guys that he has knocked out, Malcolm Gordon, that's a good win. All the other knockouts are against fucking bums. WLF Wars does not count for shit. These are all padded bullshit wins. These are all padded garbage. Who's this guy? Who's Bidzina Gavashvili Vili? Like, who the fuck are these people, bro? This guy's fighting fucking... Also, okay, well, I mean, he's fighting okay contenders, actually. But still, like, Sumadarji's ass. I don't give a fuck. He has one good knockout out of everything, other than Malcolm Gordon. And Malcolm Gordon's also shit. Got submitted by Jimmy fucking Flick, okay? If Jimmy Flick submitting you, you need to get out of the UFC ASAP, which he did. Sumadarji is in a tough spot here because Kevin Boras is a very, very nasty boxer. Very, very good knockout capability. This kid's very good at figuring it out in the pocket. Joshua Van had a good fight with him. Alessandro Costa was just controlling him very well, beat the fuck out of him. And Sumadarji, that's kind of his bread and butter, is on the ground. Back control. Guard, very, very technical, very, very dangerous in the guard. Kevin Boras, I don't know, man. This is a stand-up war. I don't think these guys are going to go anywhere. I don't think this is going to the ground. I don't think... Listen, I said he has dangerous fucking guard. Sumadarji has 1 submission on his record, guys. He has 1 submission, and it was by fucking... What, rear naked choke? How long ago? Timur Ramov? I don't even know the fuck this guy is. Like... Realistically, this should not go to the ground. If this does not go to the ground, I'm going to lean with the side of Kevin Boras. I think he's just a little bit more technical. I think he's a little bit faster. I think when he fights guys on the feet that he just finds his way through a lot easier than most people. I think the fact that Matt Schnell was able to come back against Sumadarji is a fucking indicator that his gas tank is ass. I think the fact that Tim Elliott and Charles Johnson were able to just roll over him regardless, it's a problem. Sumadarji just does not deal well with long guys. This is not a long guy. But he's still not going to deal with the pressure inside. I don't think Sumadarji has what it takes to be in that pocket consistently. I think Mitch Raposo kind of exposed him in that pocket as well for being a shorter guy. At least I think he was shorter, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, 5'5". Yeah, give me Kevin Boras. He's just a better look for the UFC anyway if Kevin Boras wins. And this is kind of where the UFC's been going consistently. If it's a close fight, they're going to give it to the guy who looks better and like is better for the company. Give it to the number fucking the man from Peru. We don't need more fucking Chinese flyweights. We just don't. You need Kevin Boras is what you need. Give me Kevin Boras to win on the decision line. It's realistic. Sumadarji might get knocked out this weekend. We'll see. But This one's definitely going to end in a knockout. Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Cortez Acosta next on the main card. We're going very easily, very quickly. Sergey Pavlovich to win by knockout. Waldo Cortez Acosta is a fucking bum in my opinion. He's absolute fucking shit. Spivak should have submitted him. Ryan Spann should have knocked him out. Rebel Spain should have knocked him out. And Andrei Arlovsky should have spit in his face while he's on the ground. I don't give a fuck. Waldo's a bum. He's always been shit. He always looks like shit. He's had 2 robberies in his career. He's number 7 heavyweight in the world for being an absolute fucking can. And he's going to get knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich this weekend. Pavlovich is going to beat the fuck out of this guy. I don't give a shit. Minus 255 favorite. Give me all the money on Pavlovich. All of my money is going on Pavlovich this week. I'm going to put my whole fucking paycheck on it. I don't give a fuck. Sorry. That's all we can talk about. Next, the co-main event of the evening. This is a 5-round co-main with Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. I'm going to have to force myself to pick Aljamain Sterling, even though my brain is telling me to go with Brian Ortega. I am forcing myself to pick Aljamain Sterling because of the fact that Aljamain Sterling absolutely rolled over Calvin Kattar. He had a tough fight over Movsar Evloev, and Movsar lost that fight in my opinion. I thought Aljamain Sterling pretty clearly won that fight 29-28. And that leads us into the Brian Ortega fight. If he's able to control Evloev like that and, you know, get him close to submissions and stuff and have a tough wrestling match with some good striking, Brian Ortega's in some fuck situations here. Because the back control from Aljamain Sterling's fucking terrifying, and Brian Ortega can't do shit from back control. So I think he's going to be in a little bit of trouble when it comes to the scrambles. I know Brian Ortega's going to be looking for some really, really good stuff in his guard, but when you're down 3 rounds, man, and Aljamain Sterling doesn't want to play on the ground anymore, what are you going to do? Because this guy can fight everywhere. He's bantamweight champion, GOAT. He's literally the GOAT of the bantamweight division. Like, I don't know what you think you're going to do against Aljamain Sterling, but I'm not sure. I was going to pick Brian Ortega by submission, but I just can't. Aljamain Sterling most likely is going to win this fight and end up fighting for the featherweight title eventually. He's probably 3 fights away from that at this point, or 2 fights away from that at this point in his career. And I think he can definitely do it. I think Aljamain Sterling got this fight down pat. He's got 2 inches of reach. He's going to utilize that jab to his advantage and eventually end up with nice double leg takedowns. Brian Ortega literally got fucking butchered by Diego Lopez, and that was 11 months ago. Butchered. He literally got knocked out. Cold, and then got woken up with an uppercut. I'm worried for Brian Ortega here. I'm not going to lie. Give me Aljamain Sterling to win via submission or on the decision. Scorecards. Now next, the main card or the main event of the evening. If you guys did enjoy, I can't even talk. If you guys did enjoy this so far, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I'm too tired to talk anymore. I think we're starting to shut down right now. We have Johnny Walker versus Mingyang Zhang. What do you think? What do you like? What do you think? What am I picking? What do you think? We're picking Mingyang Zhang to win by round 1 knockout. Johnny Walker is going to get knocked out in the most goofy way possible. Johnny Walker better be happy that his brother is actually good and not shit, because he's not going to be in the UFC much longer. Because Walter's heel hooking the fuck out of everyone. Johnny's just getting knocked out by literally everyone. Like, everyone is knocking him out. Volkan Ozdemir knocked him out. If Volkan is knocking you out, Mingyang Zhang is knocking you out in the first round, and it's not even funny. There's no fucking way he doesn't get knocked out. And there's no way we don't see Johnny Walker just absolutely get some goofy like fallback Looney Tunes shit, and then he gets cut from the UFC. That is such a Johnny Walker way to get cut, and it's 100% going to happen. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. Make sure to tune in to that Saturday stream when we do the 3 a.m. live stream. I'm probably going to do it. I'm not going to lie. I try to never miss a week. And make sure you guys check out the Contender Series breakdown for next week when I do it, which we will be doing. Make sure you check out the betting talk for this week's card, which is coming out tomorrow. Make sure you check out the Hamza Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis recap that happened from last Saturday, which will also be out tomorrow. And then I will see you guys on Friday for something else. That's all I got for you guys today. I will talk to you guys all later. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.